Philadelphia here for the America for Jesus rally. It was really great. They had great speakers, a lot of very well won't, but I came up with this great parable to help people understand what I'm kind of getting at. And I don't want you to misunderstand. There is a place for organization, surely. We see that first food ministry in Acts. It outgrew the ability of people just to do what they needed to do, and so they needed to organize. What I'm trying to get at, the root is when we invest the identity in an organization, and I believe to some extent that's what we have done today. We have invested the identity of the body of Christ into that organization on the street corner, and so that people actually get thinking that our organization is it. Well, just like that food ministry in Acts, that wasn't it. They were just organizing in order to do food ministry more effectively. So I came up with a little parable for you, and this is going to be called Parable of the Family. This is in the distant future. What has happened is, as an outgrowth of these organizations who have grown very large and have taken on the identity of the body of Christ, they've kind of expanded their borders. Instead of just taking on the identity of the body of Christ, they have taken on the identity of families. And so now, instead of families, we know what a family is. A family lives in a home here and a home there, but it's different now in the future. The family actually lives in these huge mega structures, and when a spouse and their husband and wife have a child, they take their child and give it to the family, and the family is now there. What happens in the family is really professional service. Each family has a family pastor. We might think of them someone like a grandfather. They've already gone through this process. They're a little older, maybe a little bit of gray hair, and they usually have a wife, although she is informally, she doesn't have a formal role. She in the helps with the pastor father. What they do is they oversee the rearing of the children in a very pristine, high-quality environment. These children, they never see the kind of things that people see in their homes nowadays. They might see in their homes mom and dad bickering about things or squabbling. No, no, no. In the family center, they have perfect care from morning till night. And the natural parents are encouraged to intersect, and what they do is they have high quality intersect services where they carefully structure. I mean, they've thought about this for a long time, and so they carefully structure all the elements that the children need. So there's a time of affirmation when they affirm the children and the things that they've accomplished over the last week. There's a time where the children respond back to the parents with, kind words, always done very properly because they're well trained for this. And some of the parents are encouraged to want to go a little bit further down the line. They actually have small group meetings, usually just around a few snacks, because we don't want it to be around, about the food, and, it's very complex to prepare a big meal for a bunch of people, especially if you're not used to it. So they have snacks, and they have, maybe a movie, maybe they play some games, and a structured activity where they talk about God. This has gone on now for several generations, and it's really gaining steam because, it's a lot of expense for each parent. And I'm sorry you're moving around there. We're going on the twists and turns going out of Philadelphia here. But it's a lot of expense to be taking care of the children, and the parents have been trained to give their money over to the family, which is now, of course, a center. It's no longer something in your home. And so I'm talking about the small groups that they have where It's very informal in a way, but also structured, and again, high quality. The idea is to do things in a very high quality way. So, what do you think? You ready to sign up for that? And in our illustration, there are people who have not gone this way. They're known by the family center that we're talking about as the FBs, and they say it in a really nasty way. The FBs, those are family builders, and those are people who, in their opinion, have gone rogue. They are out there having their own families in their own homes in a totally unstructured, unsupervised environment, raising those children. I mean, like, what did they think? They have the combined wisdom of people who are degreed. We have degrees in, teaching children to walk, so that we do it in a way that prevents the child really ever falling and harming their head. Do you know how many injuries occur every year? Because the FBs, the family builders, they just, they let their children out to walk around their living rooms and, in a really somewhat unsupervised way. Injuries occur all the time. They're just not doing it right, according to the family center. Well, I would submit to you that I have just described the difference between administrative authority and functional authority. We have, as our functional authority, the right to call people together, to connect with each other and connect people together. We have the responsibility, actually, to connect. We have the responsibility to confirm those people who are demonstrating. Well, both you and I went flying on that one. They have the responsibility, we have the responsibility to make sure that we're living a life that we are confirming every day that we are a disciplined follower, and we should be confirming each other. And then we should be passing on to other people what it means to be a disciplined follower, and we should be recognizing and commissioning those folks who are making disciples. Now, we don't need an organization to do that, and that is the difference. It is like having children. We expect those children to grow up and have other children. This is what it should be like in the body of Christ. We should have children, spiritual children, and we should be all cooperating. It really takes an extended family. Unfortunately, a lot of children can't take advantage of this because families are so separated. But ideally, the extended family, the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, the brother-in-laws, the sister-in-laws, they should all be helping to that child to grow and develop. Actually, in the Jewish community, it's still that way. It should be that way in our natural families. And in the family of God, we need all those distant relatives and relations to come together to help each individual believer mature. It's not an organization thing. It is a family thing. And that family interaction, that is functional authority and functional responsibility, as opposed to, in our family center example, that would be administrating the family. And I don't think that's what you want, and I don't think that's what I want. And why have we invested in an organization? I don't care if it's the local church or some type of ministry, but why do we invest in that organization the identity that God gave to you and me, the people of His people, the Christ followers? We are the body. The organization is just what we do for convenience and to address the needs of the body. So, hope that makes sense to you. It certainly will give you something to mull over. It gave me some things to mull over too as I was putting it together. Thanks for watching.